Hi, my name is Jordan Fuller, and this is my curriculum improvement plan. To start my process, I collaborated with our instructional coaches, academic leaders, and the principal, and we looked at evidence and data from the third 9 weeks ELA benchmark from the 25-26 school year. And this was kindergarten through sixth grade, and it was 298 students that completed that benchmark. The overall goal for the CIP plan was to increase student vocabulary acquisition and academic language proficiency across grades kindergarten through six through the consistent implementation of the Alabama English language arts, vocabulary standards, and evidence based vocabulary instruction. The documentation of need at Hibbett Elementary, only 47% of students K through 6 met the benchmark score in the vocabulary standards. And this standard had the lowest grade, and there is room for much improvement. And this will help not only just vocabulary, but comprehension and like textual evidence. The objectives for this CIP is to increase the percentage of students demonstrating proficiency in grade level vocabulary standards by 10% on district benchmark assessments by the end of the 26-27 school year. And all of these will be K through 6. Increase student performance on reading comprehension assessments by improving understanding and application of academic vocabulary, and ensure 100% of classroom teachers implement research-based vocabulary strategies aligned with Alabama ELA standards. And this one, I believe, would be the hardest one to accomplish and meet that 100%. So, as a team, we came up with 5 strategies to accomplish as much as we can with these objectives. The first strategy is a school-wide vocabulary framework. So, teachers will implement a consistent vocabulary instructional model using explicit instruction, student-friendly definitions, context clues, morphology, and vocabulary discussion. So, the main person responsible for this would be the classroom teacher. The LRS or local reading specialist would assist with this, and the principal to oversee and observe this happening. And this would happen Monday through Friday, every school day. The second strategy would be weekly Tier 1 and Tier 2 vocabulary framework. So teachers will provide targeted vocabulary instruction during the core reading lessons or whole group time and intervention periods. Students needing additional support will receive Tier 2 vocabulary interventions. So this would be like either pull out or push in through the intervention teachers. So classroom teachers are responsible for whole group and small group. Intervention teachers pull in or pull out or push in. And then local reading specialists will help kind of decide how this works. And this would happen as well every single day, with the intervention teachers coming up with a schedule to meet with most of these kids every day, if not 3 or 4 times a week. The third strategy would be professional development, focusing on vocabulary instruction. So, teacher leaders and instructional leaders will facilitate professional development sessions focused on research based vocabulary strategies, academic language development, and curriculum alignment. The principal would make sure that there was time for this built into the schedule, especially on PD days. I know in Florence City we have a PD day, at least one every 9 weeks. The instructional coach to help lead it, curriculum director could be involved with this as well, like getting funds and working with different curriculum companies. And then teacher leaders will also help with this. And this, like I said, would happen quarterly, hopefully at least once every 9 weeks. Strategy 4, curriculum mapping and progress monitoring. So grade level teams will review vocabulary standards across grades K6, to create a vertically aligned vocabulary progression, ensuring students build vocabulary skills systematically from year to year. Teacher leaders, instructional coaches, and the principal would be in charge of making sure all this vertical alignment happen. And academic leaders, that's the leader for each grade level, would be able to talk about what their grade level needs, where they're going, where they start. And this could take place during monthly CPT meetings. I know at Hibbett, all the grade levels do meet 4 days a week, but if they could come out with a way with coverage and everything for all these academic leaders to meet just once a month, I think it would be very beneficial. The fifth and final strategy would be data analysis and progress monitoring. So, teachers will analyze benchmark assessments, ACAP data, classroom assessments, and vocabulary screeners to monitor student growth and adjust instruction. So, classroom teachers would be responsible for this, and the instructional coach could help those teachers read the data and adjust, and the principal just to oversee and make sure all of this is happening. And every 9 weeks would be a good time to review these since we do benchmarks and other state assessments are not throughout the year. So every 9 weeks, you could have a meeting with everyone just to discuss where these students are at. This could also be done in RTI meetings. Response to intervention would be a good time to go through this. So this assignment was very overwhelming at first, but once I broke it down, I realized most schools or all schools should be doing this anyway. And so it was just kind of breaking it down, looking at a different template. So as I reflect on it, I collaborated with the principal, instructional coaches, and teacher leaders to identify this vocabulary development as a school-wide need. Used ACAP data, benchmark assessments, and teacher observations to guide this CIP. Develop strategies aligned with the Alabama standards to support all learners. Strengths included collaboration and data-driven decision making, which I know Florence City does put a lot of influence on that data-driven decision making, which makes the most sense to me. A challenge would be ensuring consistent implementation across grade levels. Like I said, this covered K through 6. If I was to go back, I would focus on 1 or 2 grades because K through 6 is just a lot to look at and very different. And this project also reinforced the importance of collaboration, assessments, and continuous improvement in curriculum planning. And I believe this project meets the target level in all 3 areas of the rubric. Thank you.